If you're a crafter or sewer or DIYer, you know that the beginning of November is usually the time you have to start pre-planning for the holiday season, if not sooner, or just preparing for the colder weather in general. So for me, it's time to plan for what pieces I'm going to be adding to my cold weather wardrobe. But you know what? I've always wanted a cute holiday-inspired dress just in case I had somewhere to go, but that I could also wear every day. So it doesn't read too holiday, but it could become very holiday inspired. I'm saying holiday 5 million times. I was scrolling through Pinterest, as I often do for inspiration, and I have been seeing midi and like maxi length plaid dresses for a while, and I've wanted one for a really long time. I did make a plaid dress, or rather I thrift flipped a plaid dress last year. It was a mini dress, and I thought I didn't want to make another plaid dress so quickly afterward, just in case that scratched the itch for me. And it's been a year and it has not scratched the itch. I want a longer plaid dress. While I was looking for inspiration on Pinterest, I actually found two things. First is there were a lot of shirred dresses. And for those of you who have been watching me for a while, you will know how obsessed I am with shirring. I love it. I do it at every opportunity that I possibly can. I think it is such a great way to create shape in a garment without having to try too hard, and it's also so comfortable. I am going to be mostly inspired by this image right here. I love this one with the little V at the front. I'm going to take off the puff sleeves, make it sleeveless. I think I want this to be as versatile as possible, and I think sleeves would take away some of the versatility. And also, I thrifted a couple of different plaid fabrics recently, and I don't think either of them are enough to make a dress on their own, but together, that's definitely enough to make a dress. So I'm also going to play around with some, it's not really patchwork, but some mixing and matching of fabrics for this one. I always love the party color dresses of the medieval period. Yes, I know, I can't help it. I always have to put a little bit of historical inspiration into my modern pieces, even though this year I've made a lot of modern pieces. So now that we have a plan, let's get started. So the closest pattern I could find to what I wanted was the Gaia shirred dress pattern, and I found it on Etsy, so I'll have that link below for you guys. So first I cut out each piece down the middle and put a little letter on the back to indicate which color it should be, because I knew I'd be confused and cut out the wrong pattern piece by accident. I know this is going to give some of y'all a heart attack because you know how much I hate to iron, but I felt it was necessary since shirring will definitely look worse if the fabric has major wrinkles in it. And while I was ironing, I just went ahead and cut each panel down the middle so I could cut out both a front and back piece from each length of fabric. I'm also making this pattern a maxi dress instead of the original mini dress, so I measured about how many inches I would need to add plus some extra for hemming, and I cut the fabric there. And I basically had the perfect amount of fabric, so no room for error here. On the original pattern, you're supposed to shirr the fabric first and then cut out the pieces, but since I was putting two different fabrics together, I decided it was best to cut out the pattern pieces first. So from the inside edge of the dress, I measured, I believe, 7 inches in to give myself plenty of room for the shirring to take in the dress. I also wanted the skirt portion to have as much fullness as possible, but I wasn't quite sure how much the shirring would take it in by. You can definitely test this if you want to, but I did not feel like it. I also should have added a couple of inches to that side waist as well to make sure the arm's eye area wouldn't fit too tightly. This didn't end up affecting it too much, and I added a little bit on each of the red pieces, but in the end, it was not a huge mistake. So 7 extra inches on each piece times the 4 pieces, I made this dress 28 inches wider all around. This is not for any particular reason. I was literally just eyeballing what looked like a good amount for extra fabric with the amount of fabric that I had available to me. And you definitely want to add enough fabric to where it will comfortably slip over your head and hips and whatever your widest measurement is, plus more for comfort and stylistic needs. So the next step was to put the dress together. As you may be able to tell, I changed how the original pattern goes together so much. So if you'd like to see how the original pattern designer put this pattern together, I'll link their video below. Any steps that they cover that I also did, I'm not going to cover in any great detail, so you'll have to go check out their video. But everything that I changed, I'll cover. Then I hand spun the bobbins with elastic thread. You have to hand spin it so that it doesn't break. I only ever have black and white on hand because this only shows up on the back of your garment, but I think you can also get this thread in an array of colors. Then for the top thread, I chose red, as that was the color that both fabrics had in them. Before cutting out my pieces earlier, the pattern had marked where the waist of the garment was, since the shirring on the original project goes down to the mid-hip. So I took that waistline and I marked it all the way across each pattern piece. I sewed my first line of shirring on that line and went upwards from there. And since the garment has been sewed together already, the way to start the next line of shirring is that a few inches before you complete that first round, you start moving your line of stitching upwards so that you do not connect it and you go ahead and start your next row. It creates less ends that you have to knot together later and makes everything look nice and smooth instead of a couple of other ways of stopping and starting. I made each row about 3/8 of an inch away from the previous row and kept stitching until I reached my arm's eye. I actually prefer shirring entire garments when they are already together rather than doing it on each individual piece. That makes sure that all of your garments are shirred to the same point, but that is my personal preference and I'm sure there are reasons as to why you shouldn't do it that way. I just can't think of any. Once I reached the arm's eye, I then did a more zigzag or like a Greek key pattern by ending one row, stitching upward for 3/8 of an inch, and then turning around and starting the next row. Now I did have to take the top of the neckline in, so I did take some elastic and I added it in while finishing that top seam. The original pattern designer covers this in their videos, so I'll stop my explanation here. And you can learn more if you want to watch their original video. But I wasn't done with shirring. I wanted this V that I've been seeing on so many photos. I thought it was so cute, but I wanted to make sure all the shirring was straight across first, so I did this little V addition last. The other kind of issue I ran into at this point was that the red plaid was made of a slightly heavier cotton than the blue plaid. So the blue shirred a bit more than the red, making the line not exactly down the center of my body anymore. But I ended up liking that a lot, so all I had to do was make sure this V was a couple of inches off center to allow for that. So for this one, I just did a zigzag pattern just because I felt like it might kind of mess with that V shape if I did that Greek key pattern or that meandering pattern that I was doing earlier. Lastly, I wanted my hem to have a bit more structure, so I took a note from the Lane pant that I made earlier this year, and I made my hem this large 4-inch hem. And this also gives me some options in the future if I would like to change the length. And with that, it's time to show you the final result. I think this turned out so cute. I love the visual interest of the two different fabrics, and I actually like that it's kind of off-center. I feel like it makes it more avant-garde feeling. It's also so comfortable, which is why I love shirring so much. There's something in me that wants to make this just a few inches shorter, but I'm gonna sit on that for a bit and wear it as is because I kind of wanted this to be a maxi. That was my original plan. Now, I could totally wear it like this in warmer weather, which I like because I can technically wear this at any time of the year, but for the upcoming Turkey Day, I can put my cute thrifted pumpkin jacket over it for a great family get-together outfit. Because this is shirred fabric, this can also be worn as a skirt with a cute sweater over it. This is making me feel like it needs to be slightly shorter for outfits like this though. And lastly, this is the way I probably wear it the most, which is a long sleeve shirt underneath it for a cute everyday look. I'm beyond happy. I'm so glad I did this. This is the perfect dress for me this year. That is going to be it for me this week, so be sure to subscribe, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye!